Anyway, Congressman Gimenez is with Florida's 26th congressional district, and he represents the largest constituency of Venezuelans in the U.S., and he's outraged at what Biden is doing here. He put out that Biden will do anything to crush American energy independence, including giving in to dictators, which is exactly what's happening. Anyway, Congressman Carlos Gimenez is with us now. Congressman, thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure, Sean. How you doing?
I'm good, my friend. I can't believe it. We have more energy resources in this country that we would never need to import any energy for hundreds of years. And yet Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, they steadfastly refuse the production of the lifeblood of the world's economy here. Why is that?
Your guess is as good as mine, Sean. It's probably because it's good for America, and everything that this president does is not good for America. He wakes up every morning and says, how can I work against America's interests? And here's another example of it. You go to a foreign dictator of Venezuela, who is an ally of who? Of Russia, of China, of Iran, who is suppressing his people. And then you're asking him, please, give us more oil, and we will try to lift some of these sanctions that we've had in place for the last 4 years. Oh, by the way, all you got to do is promise that you're going to talk to the opposition, and the opposition happens to be the government that we recognize. I mean, it's foolish, it's ridiculous, and it makes absolutely no sense, Sean.
Oh, I mean, it makes no sense. Explain to me, this is the one question no liberal can answer. How is it any different if you drill for a barrel of oil in Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, any of the OPEC plus countries, Russia, Iran? How is it any different in terms of the impact on Mother Earth than if we produce that barrel of oil here in America? Because I would argue that we do it cleaner, we do it faster, we do it cheaper, and it's in our best foreign policy interest to do so. It creates high-paying career jobs. It would go a long way to reducing the price of oil at the pump and heating our homes this winter. It would be good for inflation. Why don't we do it here?
Well, it's a great question. Actually, it is better for us to use it to get American oil because we produce it cleaner than anybody else in the world, probably 20 to 30% cleaner. So even for the environment, it's good to have American oil. And also for our foreign policy. And look, it helps our economy. It will reduce the price of oil. It will reduce the inflation. It will also give us leverage on the world market to use energy as we should as a weapon, just like the Russians are using energy as a weapon. Now we can help our allies and hurt our adversaries. And so,
by the way, could you imagine if we were still energy independent and we ratcheted up production and we sold it to our Western European allies? How much money we would make as a country, how rich we would become as a country? We
would definitely help America, but also we'd helping our allies because then they could then, say to Putin, you can eat your oil, we're going to buy American oil, and we'll have energy independence from you. That's why we need to produce more energy here in the United States. Go ahead and drill for oil, more natural gas. All those things that are good for America are also good for our allies, yet this administration is doing everything in its power to destroy the oil and gas industry here in the United States. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. There's nothing that they can say to me that's going to explain to me why this makes sense. Why are you going to Venezuela, for God's sakes? Look what they're doing to their people. No free elections. Their allies of Russia and China and Iran are major enemies, and you want them to produce the oil? Are you out of your mind? Yeah, he is. He's absolutely out of his mind.
He's out of his mind. What do people tell you? I know you have the highest Venezuelan population or constituency in the U.S. What are they saying, those people, refugees from Venezuela, to you about life in Venezuela today? Because they could be one of the richest countries on earth themselves, but because of all the political corruption and this murdering thug dictator in charge, the people are suffering mightily there.
Yeah, well, Venezuela is actually, probably could be the richest country in South America. They're full of natural resources. They used to pump about 2 million gallons of oil a day, and because of the corruption and then incompetence, they can only do about 700,000 now. And so even that's hurting their economy. And so the people of Venezuela are flocking to, the United States. A lot of them end up in Miami. They're good, hardworking people. They wish they could go back to their country, but they can't because of this the corrupt regime that they have. this oppressive regime that they have, lack of basic rights. And so, again, that the Biden administration would even be talking to these people is beyond the realm of why you would do that. I don't know. And then my constituents in South Florida are looking at it very closely. That's why in the last election it swung so far to the right, swung in our direction.
What part of Florida are you representing?
I represent what's Southwest Miami-Dade and all of Monroe County, and so. I've got about 70% of my constituents are Hispanic. Many of them came from either Venezuela, Nicaragua, Cuba, those countries that have been oppressed, and they understand what socialism is about, and they want no part of it, and they understand what this administration is doing, and they're doing nothing to help the cause of freedom in Central and South America and in the Caribbean, and they're doing everything, and this administration apparently is doing everything in its power to prop up those regimes that are oppressing their people.
So many of the counties in deep South Florida that had historically voted blue, they went red this time. What happened?
Mm-hmm. What happened is we've got an influx of people that come from these countries and understand exactly what socialism is about. They understand what censorship is all about, the lack of basic freedoms, and they understand that what the Biden administration is doing is not helping our cause for freedom in any way, shape, or form. They've seen this movie before, and they don't want to repeat it again. That's why they've gone to the Republican side. That's why we had such a sweeping win in Florida. Look, in my own district, voted 16% for Hillary Clinton in 2016. In 2020, they voted about 4% for President Trump. And in this election, I won that election by 28 points, Sean. So that you can see how it swung to the right. Miami-Dade County.
You're really underperforming. I think you should be really ashamed by those numbers. That's awful.
Yeah. And then look, what happened with the governor, right? I mean, Miami-Dade County voted for Biden in 2020 by 7 points, and we voted for DeSantis this time. So you can see the shift is not only in my district in Miami-Dade County, but all of Miami-Dade County is now turned red. And that's all due to these policies. It's all due to the fact that we Republicans have a better solution, that we really represent the working men and women, and we represent the values that the citizens of Miami-Dade County and the state of Florida really want.
So I'm talking a lot about what I'm calling accelerated migration, and that it's a combination of baby boomers hitting retirement age and also people that are fed up with high taxes, incredible burdensome bureaucracy, people fed up with COVID shutdowns. They want their kids to have in-person learning, et cetera. But they're leaving states like Pennsylvania and states like Wisconsin and states like Michigan. And those states, the people that are leaving and going to Florida or the Carolinas or Texas or Tennessee, well, most of them are going to Florida. You're taking in about 800 new residents a day. How is Florida dealing with this mass migration?
I think we're dealing with it fine. Most of those people are hardworking people who are coming down to the state of Florida to find opportunity, and they do find opportunity. Florida is growing. It's a pro-business state. We have no state income tax. We have a great governor. Legislature is controlled by the Republican Party, so it's very, very much pro-business. And also we kind of adhere to the values of the people that are coming down to South Florida. Look, one of the things I was afraid of is that, we had all these people coming from New York and all those other blue states, and were they bringing their politics with them? Well, apparently they are, but they happen to be Republicans for the most part. So I think
they're the ones likely to get out of there because they've had it and they want to get in. They want to live in a free state like Florida. I don't blame them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I was afraid that it was that some of the folks that are more liberal leanings were coming down to Florida to escape and then bring their politics down. But I don't think it's happening. I think they're actually. We, for the first time, have more Republicans registered in the state of Florida than Democrats. That's never happened in Florida history. It was a turnaround of about 500,000 from the election in 2018. So from 2018 to 2022, we had about 300,000 more Democrats than Republicans, and now that's flipped over. So I think it's about 200,000 or 300,000 more Republicans than Democrats. That's not good news for the Democrats.
Well, we appreciate you and what you're doing, Congressman Carlos Gimenez. Thank you so much. Florida's 26th district. Thank you.